Next up, we have George talking Warner Bros. Being Warner Bros.
Yeah, okay, so I feel like I should tread carefully when talking about this subject. There's a lot of trickiness to this. There's a lot of sides to this, but I'm sure we've all heard about this here. We're all in the gaming world, but it's about the DLC with the Fort Hogs Orc Slayer DLC, which was to commemorate and kind of have money donated to a developer who worked on the game. We worked for the company for a long time. He passed away. So from what I understand, the developer made this to kind of honor him, and then Warner Brothers slapped $5 on it, and this is when this entire, for lack of a better term, crap slide started. And I mean, you guys have heard about it, right? I mean, come on.
I believe now they have clarified that they're not going to earn a penny from any of the international sales on it as well. But
yes, but that's the question now. I heard about the same thing. Where is the money going? Because they haven't clarified that either. They're like, oh, we're not making a penny off of it, but then there's no internationally, the money's not going to the family because it's not. In certain states in the United States, if you read the fine print under the entire little advertisement, it's not going to the family. So where is it going? And the question, WB has been extremely just stupid in the way that they've been kind of communicating. They're just not being very clear. And it's something shady is going on without a shadow of a doubt. Shadow of a doubt. Anyways, pun aside, but something weird's going on.
Yeah, they really need to sit down with Polygon or Kotaku or PC Game and just get right. This is what's happening. This is what the thing is. This is what's happening. Full stop. No trickery. Just get this out, or else they've already been through a bit of shit press already, and it's not gonna stop for them right now. This is a very sensitive topic that they've just slapped around.
Yeah, and I mean,
get any easy.
It's not like there hasn't. It's not like there hasn't been commemorations in games before, but it's just the way they handled it that it kind of makes you just want to slap them. Charging $5 for it. I mean, the family already had somewhat of I think it was like a GoFundMe or something to that effect that you could just directly donate to. There's a lot of things that just kind of just don't add up here as far as what were they thinking, and it's just so strange.
It's definitely an odd topic, and it's one that's got harder to talk about as time has passed. But I think, I don't know, the clarification that they're not receiving money has made it a very odd talking point. Whereas beforehand, when it was first stated that it would only apply in certain regions, it was definitely a black and white case of what's going on here. But now this grey area has completely encapsulated this whole thing, and I don't really know what to say other than they need to speak to their legal team about finding a way to better explain what is going to happen with this, because there is so much confusion and there really shouldn't be in any case, especially in cases where it's, we're talking about something that's meant to be a tribute to somebody's to somebody who died.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of I'm very much, if I had to take a side, I would say my side is that this should have never happened. I don't think they should have ever slapped a price on this thing. Even if their intentions were good, there was going to be questions. There was going to be there was going to be issues that come up that they had to have known about. They're a huge corporation. They know how to sell a product. They know that internationally, hey, the money's not going to go to them, so this might not look good on us. So my opinion is simply this: they should have just not ever. They should have made the commemoration, let it be a free DLC, and then said something to the effect of for every download it gets, they will donate $5 directly to the family through their GoFundMe or personally as a check, whatever. But they should have never. No one's memory should be sold. That's ridiculous, and that's just my stance on it.
I agree, although I do no. It's an odd one as well because they really should have just, if they wanted to.
It's tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky because they've made a tribute to their character in the game, and that happens all the time, you know. And it's not even a case of should it have been DLC gated or should it have been, you have to download this. Oh, by the way, it's a tribute to one of our people. It should have just been in there anyway. This is just the problem with DLC in general, with stuff made pre-launch. I mean, if this was just included in the game and people like, hey, Easter egg, this character is based off of one of our staff who sadly, unfortunately died, then this and that and that. But because it became about donating money to the family, and then it became gated, and then it became regionally gated, it's just become a big palaver when really what they could have done if they wanted to show respect to him, they could have just included it in there. They didn't have to give any money to the family. That, not sounding ice cold here, but they didn't have to give any money to the family. But by price gating it, they now have to give money to the family, and then it's been regionally gated, and it's just become a big mess. Previously, that character would have just been in there as an Easter egg, and, if they felt that compassionate about losing a member of their team and somebody losing a member of their family, they could have just donated a bunch of money,
Have a donate button. Simple.
Yeah, if even that, not saying that the family shouldn't, get money, I guess, as a thing. I'm just saying that previously a developer would have been referenced in the code or referenced in the game, and there never would have been a kind of like, oh, by the way, the proceeds from this are going to this and this and this. But yeah,
it turned something sad into more of a mess, and it's like it crossed the line into what is this marketing? What's going on here? And then ultimately, I feel bad for the family. I mean, they already have so much to deal with. I hope to God they didn't have to deal with any of this, because that would just make it far worse. Yeah,
seeing this in the news would be, yeah.
But I think that's kind of it as far as that subject goes. It's a heavy subject, but I felt it important to bring up because WB is a how can I put this in a PG term? A piece of what's the other word for that? Turd. Is turd safe to say? Is turd safe to say?
That's not going to get cut on the... Yeah, that doesn't get cut, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, yeah.
Warner Brothers were very quick while I was working in retail. I'll quickly sum up my point on this, actually. But yeah, while I was working in retail, Warner Brothers were very, very quick to hop on to any of the ideas that EA were putting out there when EA were busy being the worst company in the world with things like online passes and single-use codes for activation to try and stop pre-owned stuff. Warner Brothers were very, very quick to hop onto that, and that's something I always remember and something I've always noticed, that Warner Brothers may not ever pioneer things like this, but they were always very quick to adopt things that would save or earn them money. And that's how I've always seen Warner Brothers. Now, whether that's because they've come from a different background before moving over into gaming, where everybody's very opinionated and, we all have our own opinion about how these things should work. But that's something I've always noticed about them. And while I'd never probably call them a bad name, I'd certainly say that they definitely do seem to have their eyes on the money.
Turd. I'm highly opinionated. I'm sorry. I think they're a turd.
Oh, that's fine enough for you. Anyway, so that was George talking about Warner Bros. Donating money from its DLC